And I don't know why it's getting me a little bit emotional, but whew. First of all, congratulations on your pregnancy. Getting pregnant and welcoming a new baby is such a big moment in life, and I'm so excited for you. After experiencing my first pregnancy and now going towards the end of my second, I can truly say that first, women are freaking amazing, and second, that there's definitely still so much for us to learn about this whole journey, and so I'm happy to share my experience and everything I learned along the way with you. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Marielle. I'm a corporate working mom with a master's degree in psychology. Here I talk about all things motherhood, parenting, relationships, work-life balance, so stick around if you want to see more of that. So I have a 2-year-old and baby number 2 on the way. So I've been filming a lot of pregnancy-related videos as I share my journey while we're getting ready for baby number 2, who is actually coming this month already.
It's crazy.
And so today I'm talking about what I wish I knew about pregnancy before even going into it, or maybe in the beginning of it. So I've consumed a lot of pregnancy-related videos, as you do, during my first pregnancy, but also during this pregnancy. And I've noticed that a lot of the content that I've seen around pregnancy are very practical. Newborn essentials, or what to pack for your hospital bag, or what do you actually need for having your first baby, and things like that, which are great. And it's really helpful because I've watched so many of those, I can't even tell you how many. And I've made a lot of my lists based off of those lists. Those are definitely super important and very good to know, especially as a first-time mom. However, I noticed that there's not that many who talk about the emotional or the more psychological aspects of pregnancy and experiencing all of these ups and downs, going through this whole journey, and also towards the end, leading up to labor. And because of that, that's exactly what I want to focus on today. So if you're expecting, and especially if you're a first-time mom, this video is for you. So the first is that your body will go through so much. And I'm not saying this lightly. All people already know that our bodies change throughout pregnancy. Your body is not the same body that you had pre-pregnancy, after pregnancy, because pregnancy really changes you. Pregnancy, labor changes you. Your mind, your brain, your physical body, even your emotional, psychological self is different once you go through the transition of going through pregnancy and laboring and giving birth to a baby. So aside from the physical, you also need to prepare yourself for the emotional and mental aspects of pregnancy, which I think doesn't get highlighted enough in a lot of the videos and the books and just content, pregnancy-related content that I've seen. There's so much in pregnancy that you need to realize. There's so many things that go on behind, like what you really see as somebody who's outside looking in. When you're outside looking in and you've never experienced a pregnancy before, you can only imagine what it's like for a pregnant person. But when you're in it, it's really a whole new world. And it's a really pivotal experience, I would say. We all have some idea of what to expect of when we get pregnant. I think this is what it's gonna be like. I think this is what they experience, more or less. But we never fully know what it's like until we're there. I know that my body has gone through so much since pre-pregnancy with my first and until now, where I'm already anticipating the birth of my second. My body before my first pregnancy is so much different from my body right now, and what my body will be postpartum after the second one as well. And I have to say that I've had so much to work through with self-confidence, self-esteem, and all that. And I've had so much insecurities about my body personally growing up, because I had all these insecurities and all of these hang-ups that I had towards my body. But after becoming a mom, ever since that whole experience of going through pregnancy the first time and giving birth to a human and being able to breastfeed and sustain her through my own body, I've never had so much more respect and love for my body until then. I've never really appreciated my body until then. And I don't know why it's getting me a little bit emotional, but I feel like I just underestimated what my body can do. So I'm just in awe and so just grateful and so amazed by how my body has supported me throughout my first and my second pregnancies, and supporting me throughout the whole process until breastfeeding my first, and then now again I'm about to go through the same with my second. And I'm just so unbelievably amazed at my body and what it can do, and how much it showed me how strong and how powerful I really am. Second is to stop comparing. Comparing yourself with other people, comparing your babies, comparing your first pregnancy to your second. I guess it's a very human thing. It's very inevitable that you're going to compare yourself, maybe also with somebody who's pregnant at the same time as you, or your older sister, or your mom, or your friend, or yourself in your first pregnancy. There's so many ways that we can compare ourselves and our pregnancies with each other, even just at the back of your head, even if it's just something that you don't verbally say. But every mom is different, every woman is different, every baby is different, and every pregnancy is also different. Comparing how much weight you've gained this time around compared to your first pregnancy, or compared to your friend, or what you look like in a dress now compared to your pre-pregnancy body. You know, it's so easy to go down that rabbit hole of comparison, and it's never really to your benefit when you go through that rabbit hole. You're never going to go through that rabbit hole and find yourself happier for it. Try to stop comparing, and when you find yourself comparing, just stop it in its tracks. Recognize the feeling that you're comparing yourself to other people and see the triggers for what it is. Maybe help yourself by trying to avoid those triggers. So for instance, if you notice that you're doing it a lot because you're comparing yourself to someone else on social media, maybe try to lessen your use of social media, or just block that person. Or if somebody's making you feel bad about your pregnancy, then just try to spend as little amount of time with them as possible if you can. Just try to stop comparing, because it's never going to be anything in your favor. The third thing is to learn to filter out information. So we're in the golden age right now of the internet, where everything is so reachable, everything you can find in pretty much a click or two. There's so much information that you can find on pretty much everything, every topic under the sun, and that's definitely the case for pregnancy. And it can be very good, because then there's so many things that you learn and so many things that you find along the way that are actually very helpful for you. However, you need to learn to be able to filter through that information. So if it's from books or from podcasts or from videos or even from people around you who are giving you some advice, learn to filter out the more helpful information that you get from them and the less helpful information that you get. So you'll need to know which ones you actually listen to and which ones you should just drop and not listen to, because not all information is needed and not all advice is very good. And so you need to know for yourself which one actually makes you feel like, okay, that makes sense, or which one makes you feel worse, and which one resonates with you and which one doesn't make sense to you. You'll need to learn to filter through all of that, because there's way too much information. There's an overload of information out there, and you cannot just blindly soak everything in yourself. You'll need to learn how to filter through that and remove the information that's not really necessary for you. Just to say it, you'll hear a lot of noise, but you'll know what's best for you and your family. The next is that pregnancy can bring up a lot of things. We are pregnant for a certain amount of time, but we are pregnant for 9 months, more or less. And throughout that 9 months, a lot of things can happen, a lot of things can change. It's almost a year that you're going through this whole journey, and your body's going through this whole journey with you. And so it can bring up a lot of things in you, but also bring up things in your spouse, in your relationships, in your family, and other people. You might see new behavior from yourself or from your spouse or from your family member that has been triggered by the pregnancy that you have never experienced before. Some people close to you, like your family or your spouse, might feel some type of way. Maybe they're excited, maybe they're anxious, maybe they feel very happy, maybe they're just terrified about it, and they're going to act a certain way because of how they feel about the pregnancy. And that's just something that you need to be aware of. It doesn't mean anything bad or good particularly about your pregnancy. It's just the way that people get triggered by pregnancy sometimes. Just know that it's going to happen whether to you or somebody close to you, and it's pretty much inevitable. But just knowing what to expect and knowing to expect that to happen is already much better than being blindsided and being surprised that these things happen. Please let go of expectations. There will be good days and there will be bad days. That's just how it is. In your normal daily life, even before you were pregnant, you had good days and you had bad days. And so during pregnancy, you will also experience good days and bad days. There are going to be days that are just so magical and momentous, and you feel just like your heart is so warm and that you feel like everything is just great and where it's supposed to be. And then there are days when it just hurts.
Or you're just so tired, so exhausted, or at wit's end, or that your emotions are just getting the best of you and you do not feel like you're in control of anything anymore.
And then there are just days where it's just normal, like a very neutral kind of day. You'll be able to enjoy your pregnancy more if you accept that there will be days like this. There will be good days, there will be bad days, there will be just neutral days. It'll be so much easier if you just know that those things are going to happen and accept that those things are going to happen. Trust the process, trust your own intuition, and trust your body. If you feel like there's something off or there's something wrong, make sure that you speak up. Make sure that you tell someone, go to the doctor, get yourself checked out. If you feel in your gut that there might be something off, it's better to go to the doctor and be told there's nothing wrong than not go to the doctor and then something apparently was wrong and you could have prevented it. So don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to go ask questions, seek help. If you feel like you need it, just accept that things are the way that it is right now. Pregnancy is a temporary thing. We go through this for a few months, which is, depending on how you look at it, long or short, but it's finite. And with the end goal of having this beautiful baby at the end of it, just makes everything much nicer. If things are a little bit challenging during your pregnancy, it's good to remind ourselves why we're doing this and why we're going through this and what we're going to have at the end of this journey. I learned not to hold on too tightly on the due date, because with my first pregnancy, I was holding on so tightly to that 40-week due date, and my daughter came 2 weeks early. So we were planning everything with the due date in mind. And when she came, I was like, I don't feel prepared, because we didn't prepare that much far ahead, because in my head I was thinking I still had 2 weeks to do all the other things that I wanted to do. But then she came early. We survived in the end, obviously. We made it work. And I think that's also like a good lesson to learn, that even if you feel like you're not prepared, which some of us might feel like we're not, things will work out and things will fall into place the way that they should. So if you're a first-time mom, the 40 weeks, the due date, is just an indication of when baby is supposed to come, or when baby is supposed to be at 40 weeks. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will come at 40 weeks or like a day or two more or less. because it's very likely that you will be overdue, but it's also very likely that baby will come earlier. So 40 weeks is really just an indication, just for us to know like how far along we are, how far along is baby, are they hitting the right metrics and things like that. But it's not something that we should hold on so tightly on, because you might be surprised that baby's suddenly there and you're not well prepared. I always say it's better to be overly prepared than underprepared, so if you can, try to prepare things earlier rather than later. And the last is that it's both an incredible and also a difficult process. Try to make space for all of the emotions that you're feeling. It's okay to feel happy and grateful, but also to feel frustrated, and also to feel like you're just done when you're puking your guts out every day, or when you're having so much back pain every single day, or when you're not sleeping through the night. I get it. It's really just kind of like this bittersweet experience that we have. There are days when it's just amazing, when you feel baby kick, and when you're preparing and it feels just like surreal. And then there are also days where you're just like
grumpy and moody and just tired and you just want to sleep all day but you can't.
And that's okay, you know? You're allowed to be annoyed. You're allowed to experience all the emotions under the sun, really. It doesn't mean anything about you as a mom. It doesn't mean that you're going to be bad at this. It doesn't mean that you don't love your baby. It doesn't mean that you're not grateful. It's totally okay to be happy and also feel the emotions of frustration, tiredness, fear, anxiety, stress that comes with it. It's all okay. And you're going to do so well, and I'm really excited for you. You got this. And I hope that this video has helped you in some way, that you got some insights, some realizations, some things that you might not have thought about before this. You're gonna be such a great mom, and you got this. Wishing you lots of love, lots of peace and calm and happiness for this pregnancy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!